Hi, this is Caitlin Shelley coming to you with our weekly update from the homestead. We have been so busy the last week. If you've been paying attention to our Facebook posts, you'll know that we have gotten rabbits. So I'll be showing you those. And spring came briefly in Michigan, and then it went away again. As you can see behind me, the snow. We got snow last night and today. And we have officially broken the all-time record for snowfall, something like 96 inches over the course of this winter, which has been crazy. So I'm hoping that this is the very last bit of snow and we won't have any more. I'm ready for spring. These chicks are ready to be out on pasture. We've had them out for a couple of different days, but obviously with the weather changing so rapidly, we couldn't have them out in this cold. We didn't want to run the risk of losing any. So let me show you the new mobile pens that they'll be in, and this isn't finished, but it's getting pretty close. You can see the general idea. So this is it. This is the mobile chicken tractor. So we'll do a little bit more information on it, but the design is from another YouTuber, John Siskovich. We used a lot of his ideas in his design because we thought they were a great idea, and we will post the link to his video down below, so check the description out for that. He also sells a great ebook that you can purchase if you want to replicate this kind of chicken shelter. So what it is it's basically a 2x3 frame with conduit on top forming the A-frame portion of it. Then we have a door framed out in the front, a tarp thrown over to cover, it doesn't have to cover all of it, but the tarp that we got that was on sale for the size ends up covering the whole thing. So the chickens will still have sunshine as it comes in from the sides, but they'll be protected if it gets rainy or if it gets a little bit colder. It'll help to give them a little bit more protection. And then you can see in here the watering system that we have. It's the same one that we had in the baby pen. It uses, you can see the icicles on the bottom of it. It uses poultry nipples inserted into a 5-gallon pail. And that way it allows us to, one, fill the water from the outside. So we should just have to dump it through the fencing and fill up that water bucket every day so that they have fresh water. And then it keeps any scrap out of it and keeps the chicken mess from getting in it too. It's just overall cleaner and it conserves the water a lot better. So you can see our current egg chickens free range during the day, and they like to follow me around everywhere I go. Yes, hi Milo. Hi, little man. So I kind of feel like the Pied Piper out here every time I walk around the yard. Can cause problems if I try to walk across the street to get the mail or to get in my car and go somewhere. But it's kind of funny in all. Now once we have all of the egg-laying birds out in their mobile pens, what we're planning on doing is rotating. So let's say, I'm not sure of numbers, but let's say we have 4 pens, then every 4th day that round of chickens will be able to be let outside to free range. That'll be the egg-laying birds. The meat birds, because we're doing the Cornish X rocks, they're so big and they're so top-heavy, for lack of a better word, because they're double-breasted, that they don't move much. They don't really have the energy, they don't really have the structure to move around a lot, and so they pretty much like to lay and sleep and eat. So those ones won't be free-ranging. Now, the thing you have been waiting for, and I've been waiting for, the rabbits. So I'm going to take in and show you our setup. These are our new additions. Hi. So this is the male. We have decided to name him Antonio. And this is the first female. She is Athena. You can see they are white New Zealand rabbits. And this is the last one, Aphrodite. She's by far the most shy. And they have been adjusting pretty well to their new home. Antonio is pretty outgoing. Hi. Friendly. Has adjusted the best out of all of them. But they're doing great. They really are. And then they have been used to only getting pellet feed from the breeder that we got them from, and so we haven't given them any grass, and we haven't put them out on pasture yet because we don't want to introduce too much grass too fast because we don't want them to get sick. We don't want any stomach or GI upset with them. And so what we'll do is slowly, as the grass comes in after the snow goes away, is give them a couple of small handfuls of grass over a period of time in order to get them used to natural forage. And eventually we will have them in mobile pens out on pasture as well, so that they have access to that, so that they have room to roam around, so that they're not just stuck in the cages all day long. So in addition to it being much better for the welfare of the animal, it also provides a better product because these rabbits are being bred for meat production. So when they are when they're pregnant and gestating, they'll have access to the grass and all of the micronutrients and things that come with it. That's a natural diet for them. And then once the babies are weaned, then they'll have access to grass and pasture as well. So that is that. You might be wondering why for meat production we've named the rabbits. What we've decided to do is name them based on, in order to keep track of the breeding cycles. So this round of rabbits being our first, all have A names. And then the next, their first litters will all have B names, and so on and so forth. And so that way it will help to keep track of things. It will also make it a little bit easier to talk about breeding from the standpoint of if I want to breed Athena with Antonio versus when we get a couple more males around here, a couple more bucks, then it'll be easier and faster and more foolproof to know which rabbits we're breeding to which. We'll be keeping really close record of that so that we can produce the absolute best meat rabbit that we possibly can. And as we were talking to the breeder that we got these guys from, specifically because we are breeding for meat and we're not breeding for pet quality, we're not breeding for shows, we're selecting rabbits that have, as you can see on Athena here, very long bodies. There's very little fat on the rabbits, which is generally, rabbits have very little fat, but also the bone structure and the just anatomical structure of these rabbits is set up for meat. They're very muscled, they're very fleshy, and so that'll give us the highest weight per carcass that we can get. So I'm very excited. Hopefully, I think it was by the end of June. If all goes well, then we will have some kits to be raising up for meat. We'll probably keep a few of the first round of kits if they turn out well, if they're up to our standard for meat, to keep them for breeding so that we can expand our capabilities. We want to, over time, we plan on having a heck of a lot more rabbits, but for right now, this is where we're at. This is where we're starting. We don't want to get into anything too quickly. So we're taking the slow and steady approach with this homestead. For both financial reasons, it doesn't make sense to get ahead of our game and get into debt just so that we can start out on this huge scale that we can't handle yet, and also to see what the market is. There's very few places around here, at least, that sell rabbit for meat, and so we want to find out what the market is like. If there are a lot of people interested in rabbits, then we might expand a little bit faster and see what our capabilities are for production, because both my husband and I both work right now, and so we need to balance our ability to handle what's going on the homestead with our out-of-town, in-town rather, jobs. Now that might change as times go, and if the homestead takes off, which we're really hoping it is, and we're really optimistic that it will take off, then our job situation may change and we may be home more in order to run the homestead, which is my preference. I mean, this is part of why we started it, so that I can be home with Milo and any future kids, as much as I can and have them be part of it. I want Milo to know where his food comes from and how it's produced, and not just, we get meat from the store and meat just comes from the grocery store and it's in a package. And I think it's really important for people to know what happens and to have a stake in it. Yeah, it's not pleasant to slaughter animals and to, if you become at all attached to your animals and then to slaughter them for meat. But that's the reality of it. And it's not a bad thing. It just is. It's the way life is. And so I want my kids and my family to have a good understanding and appreciation for that. So, enough about our personal philosophy. But those are the main updates from this week. We'll keep going as far as giving you updates on the chicken tractors. I'm hoping by the end of this week that we can have the egg-laying flock out into the chicken tractors that I showed you. We have 2 of them made up. So once they get a little bit bigger, we'll be splitting the herd so that they're not so crowded, because the egg-laying flock will just grow to be a bigger size versus the meat birds that get slaughtered after 6 to 8 weeks, and they just don't get that big, so they don't need as much room. So that is what's been going on. Also, we've been prepping for the farm market, which we're so excited about. If you didn't hear last week, we got accepted into the Ypsilanti Depot Town Farmers Market, and that will begin in May, which is only a couple of weeks away. And so we've been working on preparations to get ready for that. I've been making granola cereal. I've made over 30 pounds in the last 4 days actually. And then various other food products and cottage foods that we've been working on to get ready, labeling everything, getting our display figured out. Mark has been working on marketing type of stuff, banners and flyers and business cards and all of that good stuff. So please, please, please come check us out at the farm market. It will begin the first Saturday in May, and it runs from 9 in the morning till 1 p.m. in the afternoon, and we will be there every week. So come check it out, even if you don't want to buy. It's a cool thing, and there are a lot of different vendors selling all sorts of different products. It's worth checking out. So there will be a link as well in the description to that, and you can check them out on Facebook as well. So thank you very much for watching. If you like this sort of thing, make sure to subscribe and thumbs up to this